Because if you respect someone, if you honor someone, if you hear their heart, then you'll move in alignment with that. And I tell people all the time, if you know me, you know my heart. And if you know my heart, you know my intentions. And if you know my intention, it is to never dishonor, disrespect, or dismiss you. So that at any point you feel that in a relationship with me, I would hope that I've created a space for you to feel like we could communicate about that so that we can get back into alignment and integrity with each other.
So without any further ado, I'm going to bring in Miss Lakedra Robertson. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I was just talking, we got positive vibes going. I love it. The music just kind of sets the whole tone to the entire interview, I think.
Absolutely. It's a groove. So you a whole vibe. I'm gonna say that.
Oh. So how's everything going tonight?
It's great. I've been looking so forward to having this conversation with you. It's such an
Me
honor to be on
too.
your
Me
show.
too.
And yes, I'm just excited.
Yes, yes. And I'm not even sure how we met. I don't know if we met on LinkedIn or Instagram.
Your family, your cousin introduced us.
That's
Yes,
right.
yes, yes.
Oh, Rochelle.
Rochelle.
That's
Yes,
it.
yes, yes, yes,
Yeah, she told me she had a good friend that I needed to meet, and I'm so
yes,
glad that we connected. So thank you for
yes,
that. And
yes. And thank you, Rochelle, girl.
that's what I was about to say, cousin. If you are watching, I appreciate you. Thank you for always supporting me. I love you. I love you. I love you. But she left me in Maryland, but that's okay though.
We're glad to have her back. I get to see her every now and then.
Yeah, yeah. So tell me a bit about yourself.
So, Lakedra Robertson, I'm living here in New Orleans, and I'm a new author. So, thank you for having me on your platform. Yay. I'm a certified personal and executive coach. So,
Oh,
I run Vulnerability Reimagined Transformative Coaching and just really helping people sift, shift, and soar into abundance. And I'm really excited about being the author of the new book. Yay.
oh, that's
And
beautiful. Wait, hold that up again.
yay.
Oh, now what is that? Vulnerable enough?
Vulnerable enough. Yes.
Oh, well, wow. Now vulnerable for some people can be a dirty word because
Mhm.
when you say you're vulnerable, people think that now you're opening up yourself to being taken advantage of,
Right.
or that you're opening yourself up so people can hurt your feelings very easily. But what
Mhm.
exactly does vulnerable mean to you?
So, vulnerable enough for me, I tell people to see vulnerability as their superpower. So, oftentimes people do, but if you lead with it as a potential weakness, people will pounce on that. Even if you're walking around and people say, be safe, don't be scared. If you put out that you're scared, you invite fear into your space. If you're around a dog and you exude fear, they want to attack you. So, if you put out that energy that it's a weakness for you, that is something that people will pounce. But if you see it as a superpower, then you can walk around feeling empowered and stand strong in who you are, your authentic self. So being vulnerable enough to find a balance and be in alignment with who God has called you to be is essentially what the book is about.
Well, I love that. And if we can maybe just peel that onion peel back just a little bit more,
Sure.
um, how do I use vulnerability as a superpower? What does that mean?
So for me, I grew up and I was able to see my mom go through a lot of different things, and that's also my dedication in the book. And what I loved about life's challenges, whether it's my mom, my grandmother, the women, men in my life, we always had open communication about it, so that if you had questions about the state of the EQ, the emotional intelligence that they were experiencing, that we could see it as something that we can build on. And like I said, it'd be a foundation. So I feel like setting, being accountable for the things that you say and do and holding other people accountable having very strong boundaries and don't letting people push you around in that way, and being very clear about who you are and what you will and will not tolerate. And so I think that once you understand that you've taken control of your vulnerability and you lead with it, you don't then give people don't really have the power over your vulnerability if you're controlling it and have boundaries and clear about what it is that you want and need from that space. So I feel like I'm very vulnerable. I'm very open with my feelings, but I also lead with being a safe person. So people who want to be vulnerable, I create that space of safety so that it's a mutual respect. And that if I'm holding your vulnerability in a safe space, I would hope that you would give me the same honor and respect and do the same. And so many people suppress their traumas and triggers. And instead of talking through it, sifting through it, which is what the sifting part is in the book. So, this is a good segue into the book. So, the first part of the book is really talking about sifting through your belief system. And then people often see sifting as only getting rid of what doesn't work. But what are we holding on to that does work for us? And so, the
Mm,
first chapter is really using the analogy of baking a cake and talking you through that journey of being able to inspect your ingredients. What are the things you're allowing to come into your space? And we often spend more time inspecting ingredients that belong to other people. You give more value to your job, you give more value to other
right.
things, but you don't value yourself in that same regard. So when we talk about sifting, a lot of the way that we move in life is really based on our operating system. So what do you believe about yourself, and are you actually operating in that? So this sifting is a breaking down of what you believe about yourself and how you want other people to believe about you. But if you aren't clear about that, that's where the
Mm,
confusion comes in. And so you really need to get to a space of clarity and being able to separate the good from the bad.
love that.
Yeah.
Yes. Like I said, you're preaching tonight and you're dropping a lot of jewels. So I'm hoping that all of the people who are listening are picking it up. Love that. Now, that is basically all that's in your book. Now, for people who I know the book's not out yet, but
It's
it's
out.
coming. It's coming.
It's out. You can purchase it
Okay.
on my website. Yes, it's
Okay,
print.
great. So it's on the website.
Yes.
So let's go ahead and put the website on the screen so everybody can find out where they can get this book because this sounds like there's a lot of good stuff in here. And I think sometimes people shy away from what they call self-help books. And I think that's becoming kind of almost a cuss word, calling it a self-help book. But this just sounds like it's more than just motivational speaking. And I think sometimes people shy away from these types of books because they think that it's just motivational speaking and that once I finish reading the book I'm going to be in the same situation, but there's something a little different about this book and with the challenge that you have coming up that can help people to apply these principles in the book to their lives.
Yes. And I wish I had called it a workbook because it is actually a workbook. And there is a 3-part workshop series that goes along with this. And I'll be going to Atlanta, DC, and LA to do some of these series.
Oh,
But
say when you come to DC, you know you have to hit me up
I
now.
know, girl, I'm gonna have you in the space. Let me tell you, you already know.
All right.
So, what's the beauty of this book is that it's a devotional. It is based on the Word of God, which is who is the head of my life. And what it does is it gives you an overview. It gives you a devotion. We give you 3 to 4 scriptures per day, a prayer, and then what I love about this setup is that it gives you a moment of reflection and then it gives you action steps. So a lot of people, get journals and they just journal, but they leave those feelings there. But this is once you've had those feelings, what are you going to do with them? And so then
Right.
there's action steps that you will be able to take every day. So when we do the 21-day challenge, it will give each person a week to work through a week's worth of the workbook, and then we'll come together on that every 7 days as a point of accountability. That if you're saying you want to be better, to love better, to honor yourself, to set boundaries, to get clear in life, then you're going to take these steps. And then we often get frustrated that we're holding other people hostage to
Mhm.
unarticulated wants, needs, and desires. But then the first person you have to be accountable to is yourself. So if you
Yes.
can't honor your word to yourself, how can you expect other people to honor that?
I see Kathleen Thigpen Stevens. She said that you are her life mentor.
Yes. Hi, Kathleen. Hey, sis. Yes.
Now with that, it sounds like these are principles that we can apply to business as well as relationships,
Hmm.
and not just romantic relationships, but even friendships.
Interpersonal, yes, all relationships. Hmm.
Yeah, because I think sometimes we open ourselves up to the same type of treatment, even when we're dealing with friendships, and not so much romantic relationships,
Hmm.
but just friendships. Because, we want to have friends so badly, we want to be loved so badly that sometimes we may accept certain behaviors that we know are not good for us.
Not healthy for us, absolutely. And I moved to South Africa a few years ago, and
Mm.
I used to have a game night every third Saturday of the month for like a decade at my home. And I even started to do it in South Africa when I moved to Africa. But what God did when He moved me from here, which is why I believe this book was seeded and downloaded into my spirit, was that He had to take me through a sifting. And that's
Mm.
why, God said you can't transform what you haven't been through. And so in this season, He took me through a sifting and the grieving of relationships and being able to be clear about. I told this to someone before, but I actually wasn't operating in it. That friendship shouldn't happen to you, it should happen with you. So, whatever
Mm.
relationship you're in, you should be in it with one another. It shouldn't be something that is one sided, that it's happening to you and you're taking all these blows and enduring all these triggers.